What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. And today is always special, but today's special because Shawn is going to propose unwinnable scenarios to me.
Yeah, so Richard, back in the day, we decided we wanted to do drafts, and then on 3s and 8s, we said we're doing drafts. But because we've kind of drafted everything and anything, we started to slow down on those and only do drafts on 3s, but we needed something fun to do on the 8s. We've got our LLB movie pitches, which are great, but I feel like we should try some other things. You know, it's kind of like when, you and your wife, me and my wife, any wife and husband, you get to the point where you're like, hey, let's try to spice this up a little bit. And she's like, no butt stuff. You're like, oh. And then you just go to the room by yourself.
You're like, what about me, butt stuff? And then she's like, what? And you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm curious. Like,
yeah. I mean, here, I have a question for you. Would you rather do this or this?
One finger or two?
So what I'm proposing today, Richard, we used to do super fights back in the day, but this is kind of a take on that, and I'm calling it super questions.
You know, speaking of super fights, there's still a super fight episode that you haven't put out there that I'm very disappointed about.
I have not even put it together and edited it because that was the episode where I went and my wife was in bed and I said, hey, we just had this thing where Jesus fought. I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember. I think it was like was it a Bukkake teenager?
It was something that you're like, oh, it's going to make a lot of people mad, I think. And I told her, I'm like, I don't know if I should put this out. And she's like, please don't. And I texted you before I went to sleep. I'm like, I don't think we're going to put that one out. You're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't.
Whatever. I was 100% for it. Who am I to deny people?
Yeah, I need to go back and edit that one. It may not be too bad now. Like when you think about it, it may have been bad in the moment,
like in the long run.
Yeah. Like let it sit, and maybe I should do that while sitting at home. But what this is, Richard, is I've got 6 questions. It'll probably vary on topics, but these are situations. This is the overall topic for this.
It's almost like a would you rather.
Basically,
right?
yeah, very much like a would you rather.
I do not know what these questions are. I have no idea. He could say anything to me right now. For the record, 2 fingers.
Super question number 1. Would you want to make out with your podcast host or your best friend? Go. Well, I hate my podcast co-host, so my best friend. Oh, that makes... Wait a second.
I thought I was your... Oh.
So these are just situations I thought we could discuss, like whichever one we decide to pick, and then go off on tangents on it. So the first question, super question number 1, Richard, is choose between living in the zombie apocalypse or fighting an alien invasion. So
if I have the choice between a zombie apocalypse and alien invasion,
and maybe think pros, cons. Maybe we should try to figure out the pros and cons of each, and then at the end choose which one we would do.
Okay. Because in my head I've already picked.
I think I got mine picked too.
Well, then I mean, okay. So no, we can't.
And I think
in all of these, let's say at the same time, but that makes for horrible audio. So
yeah, no, I was gonna say so. Basically, you and I are going through these things together. So we kind of have to, so maybe that'll change your mind a little bit. So you think let's start with living in the zombie apocalypse, right? You and I, let's say we're going on our trip to a podcast conference or our pilgrimage we went on.
Yeah.
And we get there, day 1 goes great. We wake up and all of a sudden zombie apocalypse, right? So we're in Red Bank, New Jersey. We stop by the secret stash and, instead of seeing Mike Zapskis, we see Mike Zombie. And we're like, holy shit, Richard, it's happened. And we got to battle through the undead and get halfway across country.
Him and he's like, fuck you guys, it was Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. We didn't really...
Plus, you're supposed to hit him in the head, and you just winged me in the shoulder.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but Nerf guns wouldn't do anything.
I'd rather you killed me. This just hurts.
I know. I always, I feel like zombie apocalypse, you definitely have a situation where you could survive on your own more. Because in an alien invasion, I think you have to rely on the government more than you would in a zombie apocalypse. Because I'm talking like Walking Dead, like that far into it.
I don't know if you necessarily have to rely on the government more, but I would say that I think that there is a. I mean, if you're asking which threat is more plausible, you got to go with zombie apocalypse. But if you're asking me which I think world governments are prepared for, maybe alien invasion. I feel like with alien invasion, like things would still stay kind of together.
Well, alien invasion is simply it's war is all that is.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like there would be I feel like there would be a less of a societal breakdown in an alien invasion.
Yeah, until the point where aliens have won, and then you're kind of in a zombie-like situation.
Well, then you're in an alien apocalypse. See?
Yeah, but this would be the initial invasion is the way I'm setting it up. Because even with the zombie apocalypse, like what you would think of as like an invasion is really the first like 2 weeks of it.
Right.
An alien invasion could be, it could extend out more than just a few days, weeks, probably maybe months to years.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm saying that like during an alien invasion, everyone will be like, "Come on, guys, let's get together and let's kick ET's ass," But like, I think during a zombie apocalypse, I think people will be more apt to "fuck you, that's mine."
I think at first you might be kind of like, "Yeah, let's do this together," but after it's been going on for a while and like the whole like collapse of societies happen, yeah, I think you're gonna have people be like, "Yeah, you stay away from me. If you come near me, I'm gonna shoot you." Or
I think it would take 7 days. I think if a zombie apocalypse happened, I think in 7 days you would have a complete breakdown of society.
What kind of zombie apocalypse though? Like what kind of zombies, I guess? Like fast moving zombies, I give you 7 days.
Fast moving, I'd say it'd be even less.
It'd be days, yeah. I think if it's slow shamblers like Walking Dead, I think it'd be a slow spread. I think you could get weeks in.
Maybe, but I would like tops 2 weeks.
And I think it all depends too, because if would the governments be trying to keep it under containment and not let people know what's really going on?
I'm sure I feel like you would definitely have that. Shawn, it took 2 weeks. Never mind.
Similar, but yeah, I mean, I think. Well, in a zombie apocalypse, I think the big challenge there too is you necessarily don't know who your enemy is. Whereas in an alien invasion, unless they look human, you kind of know like what you're fighting.
Oh shit! Yeah, what if that happens? What if it's like V, where they're lizard people, but the lizard people can look like us?
Yeah, and they've already been here.
Oh shit! What if it's like Westworld?
Oh man, I should have put that on here. I didn't.
Like
a robot apocalypse. That would be fucked up because you would die quick. Like, there's no Terminator thing. Like, you're dead. That's what, I mean, you think about aliens, if they come down here and they've got similar weaponry, like, yeah, we might be okay. But if they come down, they got like these disintegrator guns, you're fucked.
Yeah, you are.
And I feel like with zombies too, if it's like the dead type zombies that kind of just keep going after they're dead, like headshots is the only way.
Yeah.
I feel like you're more challenged there, but if it's more like a viral type thing, like it's like rabies. You have a better shot because you just have to kill the host, right? Like, body shots will do the job, but a headshot would be quicker. But it's not somebody that is dead that's reanimated.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Do you have any other pros cons either way, or?
I guess it's like I said. I feel like if aliens, if all of a sudden big fucking spaceships showed up, I think that we would. I think that we as the human race would kind of stand together a bit. We'd stand together more. I don't know how we do because, like you said, like what if they show up and then they have like, fire alien blaster, and we're like, fire the what? And then they fucking vaporize a house.
Like it's Independence Day style, where they come in with like these super fast ships, and
or they just bombard us from orbit.
Yeah.
Shit, what if we have to go to space?
I'm not ready for that.
Like, what if we gotta go to space? What if it's like, oh, there's aliens here, but all they're doing is just sitting up in orbit and shooting lasers at us, and the only way we can fight them is we gotta build spaceships.
Oh god, like, because I mean, if they're coming here, they want something, right? Like, I think all the sci-fi stuff is resources. And what if they have weaponry that just like disintegrates people, but not the resources? Like it's like a slow like burning across the country. But then you have to worry about like what happens if you get kidnapped? What happens if they kidnap me, Richard, and like replace me with a lizard, Shawn?
Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yeah.
You know, every time Ash Wednesday comes around, I feel like I'm in that movie. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Why is that?
Because I'm walking around, like I get off work and I go to the grocery store or whatever, and I'm walking around and I see all these people with the little ashy crosses on their forehead, and I don't have one, and they're all walking around like everything's fucking normal, but it's not. You know why? Because they have big ashy crosses on their forehead. I feel like I'm an Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I feel like all of a sudden they're like one's gonna look at me, like somebody's gonna look at me and not see the ashy cross on my forehead. Yeah, and they're gonna be like, ah! And point at me, and then I'm gonna be like, oh shit, and they're all gonna turn.
They're like, give him the bread of Christ.
Oh fuck. But
you live like where we're from originally is like super Catholic. It's like 80% Catholic.
That makes it even worse because then everybody has it but me.
I would imagine that like most places, like there's other places obviously that are that high percentage of Catholics, but I'm sure in a lot of places it's probably the reverse, where like there's like 6 people walking down the streets that have it, but like everybody else doesn't.
So they just think they're like crazy homeless people.
Probably, yeah. But yeah. So okay, Richard. So what would you choose between living in the zombie apocalypse or fighting an alien invasion?
Hands down, alien invasion. Because I feel like I could, hands down. Yes.
Oh, I was going to say living in the zombie apocalypse.
Because here's why. Like, I don't think that I am suited for apocalypse living. Like, I don't think that this body is tailor-made for apocalypse living.
So you're thinking the alien invasion, they're basically going to like wipe out like the government and basically take over and be like, now you must listen to the lizard leaders. And you just
maybe like what if that happens? Like what if all of a sudden they show up and they just take over the government and they're like, okay, now we're in charge, and then like everything's cool.
I mean, it could be. Well, they could be like, now you must remove our scales 6 times a day because we shed so bad. Like, I mean, it's a living.
Exactly, right?
I feel the reason I like the zombie apocalypse idea better is because at some point when it happened, you would be on your own, and basically any decision that you made, good or bad, would be your decision.
Do you think you could make it in a zombie apocalypse?
I think more so than an alien invasion.
Shawn, you just got done running through grass and you were covered in ticks, and you were like,
God! I had like 30 ticks. Well, the showering part would be tough. Like if I couldn't shower once in a while.
That's a good point, because you shower like twice a day.
I do. I shower a ton. I think you'd get used to it after a while.
It's weird.
Although
he showers an uncomfortable amount. That's all I'm saying.
At least twice a day. Like when I get up in the morning.
Doesn't that seem like I totally get once a day, maybe twice a day, depending on what you're doing, but just twice a day just because.
Yeah. Well, I get up in the morning. That's my go-to to get like queued up for the day. And then usually before I go to bed, because I've worked out and done some stuff, I'll have you know, Richard, since we haven't talked about what's going on in the world events, but I've been stuck home a little bit more recently, and I've actually not been using as much deodorant because there's no reason to.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's actually kind of nice. Yeah. I'll waft it in front of my wife every now and then. Like, smell me. I smell like a man.
What are you talking about? Yeah, like with all the hard work, you sit at your desk.
Well, after my workout, like say I've been working out over lunch, and I get a little right. Not bad, but enough that like I lift up my.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Pilates doesn't really make me sweat that much.
But the fact that because you shower twice a day, like you think like a little bit is.
That's true. That is very true.
Your 8 is another person's like 2.
Oh, we haven't talked about it. When I got my tattoo, I'm sure it wasn't as bad as I thought, but I was like getting kind of hot and sweaty, and every now and then I got a whiff of my man scent, and I was like, oh, I feel bad. Like it wasn't bad, but it was bad for me.
Exactly. See, but like nobody else reacted. You know why? Because your 8 is someone else's 2.
That's true. I'm very sensitive to smells, though. I've always been that way. But I think I would choose the zombie apocalypse just because it's more up to me on the decisions that get made. But like if they came down like, yeah, we just overthrew your government, everything's going to be basically the same. Just now you vote for lizard
We
people.
actually have flying cars. And then you're like, what?
Yeah, I was like, can I get one? They're like, no, you can't. Well, can I ride in one? Yeah, sure. Sweet.
Yeah. Alien invasions rock.
All right, Richard. So this one might be a little bit quicker. Maybe not. I don't know. But super question number 2.
All right.
Choose between being stranded on a desert island or stranded on Mars. So again, it's you and I. We're on a ship for a 6-hour tour. All of a sudden, the weather starts getting rough, and the tiny ship gets tossed. If not for the courage of you and I, that tiny ship would be lost. We land on Bromance Island.
Okay.
Or, Richard, they say, hey, we need some entertainment on this spaceship to Mars. We ride to Mars, you and I. We say the wives, we got to do our American duty.
Yeah.
And they say, haha, you said duty. And we yell at them because that's our joke. And we get to Mars and the ship breaks down and it's only you and I on Mars.
Okay.
So I feel like Desert Island, you don't have any shelter made, so you got to build your own shelter.
Right.
Fresh seafood.
Right.
I think that's a plus.
Yeah.
I think you and I are both good cooks, so I bet we can make some really kick-ass food right there too.
Yeah.
I don't know how you are at making fires from scratch. I think that would take some effort from us.
Well, I'd have a lighter on me.
That's true. You would have a lighter.
Yeah.
So we'd be okay there. And I'm sure the ship would have something, like some kind of like emergency pack. Mars, though, you'd still have internet, probably.
Okay, so wait. So with Mars, what like are we coming to a Mars habitat? Like, is there going to be a habitat there on Mars?
I think to make it like tie into how the desert island would be, it would be like the first manned mission to Mars.
So is it going to be like The Martian?
Kind of, yeah. So we have
which I
materials.
never actually saw in its
not
entirety.
Bad, not great, but it's not bad. I think scientifically it's supposed to be fairly accurate.
The guy that wrote the book, The Martian, he also wrote a short story called The Egg, and that shit fucking blew my mind. Like, philosophically, existentially, blew my fucking mind.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll show you this thing later.
Okay. But like Mars, I mean, you'd think that we go with like 10 to 12 people, and then we get shipwrecked or basically shipwrecked on Mars. And to make it similar, we'd be the only ones that survive.
Uh-huh.
So we have to deal with like crewmates' deaths, which I think would be rough. Because I think it's 3 months to get to Mars?
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
So we would build up this camaraderie, and probably what would happen is in those 3 months, we would annoy the shit out of them.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Fuck this, we're just."
Oh my god!
landing.
Like, here's what happened. Like, we'd be on the ship, and they'd be like, "Okay, here's the plan. We're gonna lure these two assholes into the escape pod.
We're gonna take them to Crater 721,
and then we're gonna fucking dump them off."
Have you seen how much these two fat asses eat? We got 6 months of food. With these two, it's not gonna last that long.
So then we're in the ship, and then all of a sudden, the rest of the crew is like, I heard there was a very large-breasted woman in the escape pod. And then we're like, large-breasted woman in the escape pod? And then we go running, and we jump in the escape pod, and they shut the door. And then we're like, hey, wait a minute. But then as soon as that happens, a fucking meteor hits the ship.
Because they weren't paying attention. They weren't doing their job.
Yeah, because they were busy trying to, kill us. Yeah. And so then the ship gets hit by a meteor. The escape pod breaks off and we land on Mars. Meanwhile, the ship crashes and everybody dies.
Yeah, but all the stuff would, like, obviously they would try to pack that stuff safely. So all the stuff is fine. Like, it's like dehydrated, like, carrots, dehydrated, like, Burger King, dehydrated Pizza Hut. Like, because it's got to be sponsored because that shit's expensive to get to Mars. So we basically have to build all the stuff ourselves. I'm sure, like I said, we probably still have internet, so we could be, like, communicating back home. We'd be like, hey, we're just going to do podcasts up here. And they're like, you've only got, like, with everybody dead and the food, like, you might have, like, 2 years worth of, like, resources. Like, are you sure? Like, you don't want to try and figure out how to come home. Like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Well, because, I mean, at one point, like, wasn't Matt Damon fucking growing potatoes?
Yeah, he was able to regrow potatoes, which is crazy. I didn't realize you could do that.
So, I mean, essentially we'd be okay because we could just grow our own food.
Well, even in that situation, I think the issue I won't spoil it.
But then you'd be like, oh, potatoes again. I'd be like, shut up.
Just eat it.
Yeah.
Here's some Martian salt. I hate Martian salt.
It's just dirt. Stop calling it Martian salt.
Hey, Richard, for our podcast tonight, we should talk about Crater 721. We've already talked about that one.
They're all dead.
Oh, what if we start an alien invasion because of that? Like, we get there and there's aliens, there's Martians. Like, we got to get these fuckers off this island, off this planet.
So then they invade, and then they don't even invade. They just blow up. They show up and they're like, and they, shoot a couple buildings, and they'll be like, that's what you get. And then the world's like, that's what we get for what? And then they just send our escape pod back down. Don't do it again.
They play our podcast over the loudspeakers. There's only like 6 people that heard this here. They snuck on that ship. We don't know how they got on there.
Yeah.
They said they won some competition.
Yeah.
We didn't know what that meant. I do feel like even though you're on Mars, which is a full planet, I would feel more trapped there than I would on a deserted island.
Well, I guess my thing is with a deserted island, I feel like you get a better choice of attire.
Well, I mean,
because deserted island, like, I get to walk around nude.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's really all you get.
Because 100% I would.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess once you got past a little bit of the sunburnness and your skin kind of hardened up, you might be all right. Because I don't know about you, Richard, but my PP hasn't seen much of the sun. So that first little bit is going to be kind of rough.
I wear a loincloth like Tarzan.
Oh, man. We don't talk about Quantum Leap enough, but there's an episode of Quantum Leap where they got trapped on a deserted island, him and some girl he was trying to save.
Okay.
And he got mad because she peed in some fresh water, which I don't really understand why that would matter because it would dilute it enough that it wouldn't be a big deal. But
still, knock it off.
Oh, God.
Like,
Richard,
could you not?
Well, yeah, I think she was like a movie star, and so she was kind of acting like spoiled snobby. Yeah. But you know what, Richard, with you and I there, it'd almost be like Blue Lagoon, except with the pregnancy part.
Really? Yeah, without the pregnancy part?
How long before you and I start checking each other out?
No. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, no.
Why are you staring at me in the eyes?
No, that's not in the cards.
I mean, both places we'd have the same kind of entertainment. Like, which one? How would you entertain ourselves on both these places?
I'm sure you can come up with something. I mean, on Mars you got the internet, so like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so maybe Mars we'd have a better way of entertaining ourselves. It'd be slow internet.
It would,
but
it'd basically be like playing chess by mail.
Yeah. Like, oh, look, I just saw the top of her boob.
Knight to B2.
Tomorrow I'm totally going to wreck this. All right, so question number 2, Richard. Stranded on a desert island?
Oh, so, okay.
Or stranded on Mars?
Huh. You know, when you first said the question, I immediately was thinking desert island. Just because, like, I don't know, like I said, like the choice of a time, like I feel like the setting would be nicer. You know, you got some trees, there's some sand, nice water, just kind of chill out. But after talking, I would probably go with Mars.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna still stick with the desert island.
Yeah?
I see where you're coming from with Mars because it could be pretty decent, but I think with the desert island there'd be more knowns.
What if you saw sharks all the time?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have to go too deep in the water.
Would you do that like fear by exposure thing and try to like overcome your fear of sharks?
Oh no, like you got to be smart. Like you still fish and stuff, but I'm not getting that deep in the water. Like and if we know, like if it's like Hawaii where there's like big fucking sharks in the water, yeah, I'm not getting that deep in the water.
Yeah,
but I think I'd go desert island. I think because there's more knowns. I think getting rescued would probably be more realistic.
I don't know. See, I feel like at Mars it'd just be a nice time. You just kind of hang out. I mean, same with the desert island, but I don't know.
I just like the idea of being on an island. Like
I
all
feel
to
like
yourself.
I guess I feel like Mars it would be a bit more self-sustaining.
Yeah, if you had all this stuff, and really, like you talk about being rescued.
Like
even
in a
if it
way,
took
it'd
them-
almost be like less work.
It'd be just like a big vacation because they would have like for whatever reason it crash landed, and let's say it took them 6 months to queue up the next ship. Like within a year, they'd have another ship there,
Yeah.
and you'd have plenty of resources to make it by then. I would
Yeah.
think.
And then their ship crashes, and then we're like, "Yay, we're friends!"
Yeah. Hey, come listen to our
And
back
then they're
catalog.
like, "Hey, I hear there's some. I saw that there was a big breasted girl in the airlock," and we're like, "What?" And then we,
That's how they got us.
oh, not again!
All right, super question number 3. Choose between being lost in the desert or lost in the jungle.
Ooh,
Desert, less resources,
yes, very much so.
a lot of exposure to elements.
Yeah, that
less.
you got wind, you got sand in your face.
Yeah, less
Of
dangerous
course,
animals though.
gets in everywhere.
It does. I don't like the heat either, but in the jungle you got like hot humidity heat.
Yeah.
So you got the dry heat or the wet heat.
Yeah, see, I feel like the weather in the jungle would be worse.
Oof. And you're talking like some of those like snakes. Oh,
And
like in the
bugs.
desert, there's snakes, but yeah, bugs, leopards.
They can't help it. They're just walking around. Their face is falling off.
That's true. That's question number 4. Leopard
Would you
colony
rather be a leopard or a
nudist
leopard?
colony. And like you see some of those jungles that haven't had people in them for a long time. Like there's so much like not brush, but what do you call the jungle vines and stuff that they have to like cut through with like machetes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But okay, see, but the thing is that with the jungle, you got I feel like you have almost a better chance of surviving because you have access to food and water. Like you don't get
That's
that in
true.
the desert.
Yeah, humans aren't made to live in the desert. They
Unless
probably
you
live in
find
the
an
jungle.
oasis, and then once you do, you're pretty well stuck.
Well, you're pretty much dead because you're hallucinating.
No, an actual oasis, not the fake oasis where you're like, oh my God, there's a
There's
big-breasted woman and she's standing next to a pool of water.
Oh, this is so nice, Richard. Come join me.
Meanwhile, I'm chugging sand. Gulp, gulp.
Oh my God, this Mars salt is so good.
In the
it's-
jungle, you have more ready access to fresh water and better chance of finding food.
I think your
although-
chances.
There's a much larger chance that something else is going to kill you.
Yeah, I think that's the question with this. Do you want to die because of the elements, or do you want to die because of like some mosquito stinging you or biting you and giving you malaria? Again, I hate the heat. Although nighttime in the desert wouldn't be so bad.
It gets
I think
cold.
It gets cold.
Well,
yeah.
sometimes it gets cold and sometimes it just stays hot. Have you ever been to the desert, Sean?
I've been to like Las Vegas, but I haven't been like in a desert.
I drove through Arizona and I was like, oh, let's go stay in the desert. So we found this little RV park smack in the middle of fucking nowhere in the desert. Like there was nothing
Yeah.
for miles, you know, like you're driving down the highway and you just see this like one little group of lights in this sea of black.
Oh, that's got to be so cool.
It really was. And so we stopped there and we get ourselves all set up and it was like close to dark. By the time we got everything set up, it was dark. And so night came around. Sean, at night, it was still probably every bit of like 90, 95 degrees.
So what? I've always heard that it gets cold in the desert.
I've heard that too. And I will say that when I was there, this was probably like July.
So maybe like middle of the summer, it doesn't do that, but maybe like fall, spring time wise, it might.
Well, I was going to say, like, when I was driving, the next time I drove through there, it was December, and then it was cold. Like, it
Like,
was
at night?
cold. Like 30.
At night though, but
Yeah,
like during the day,
yeah.
it's still hot.
Um,
Because I think we went to Vegas like during Labor Day. Is Memorial? Which one's first? Is it Memorial Day or Labor Day? I always get it mixed up. Memorial Day, right?
Labor Day's in September.
Okay, so we went through Memorial Day, so like the official kickoff to summer,
Okay.
and it was like 70 degrees during the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think winter and stuff, it's still not like hot, cold, but it's not like you don't think like 90-degree temperatures.
Yeah. When I was last time I was in Vegas, it was August. And I mean it was warm at night, but not super warm.
Gotcha.
Okay, but the thing that I loved the most about the desert was you could see the entire sky.
Yeah, that's what I would love to
That was
see.
amazing.
You don't see that in Vegas, not in that desert.
Oh God, no.
But yeah, like you mentioned, like you see everything in that clear sky, and I mean, if you're dying of thirst, at least you have a good view.
But oh my God, it was but like even like midnight, 12:30, 1 in the morning, it was still like 95 degrees. My wife was like, "It's so fucking hot. I want to kill myself."
Was your vehicle overheating too? Didn't you say like you couldn't have the AC running or?
No, I didn't have that. I didn't have that problem.
Oh, okay.
The one other thing that I thought that was weird in the desert, and I didn't know this was true, but the park we stayed at, they had a pool at the park, and so I went with the kids to go like check out the pool.
Yeah,
and
alligators.
Right by, not gators, but right by the filter, or right by the steps in the pool, was this gigantic ball of bees.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember you telling me that. So they basically go around that because of the water?
Yeah, they said that they just wander. So there's like wandering fucking flocks of bees.
I've heard that people that live in the desert like have to continuously put ice in their pools to keep them at like non-bathwater temperatures. But yeah, the wildlife, like I could imagine like all the snakes and all other kinds of wildlife to be like, oh, look, water, I'm going to hang out here. You jump in your pool late at night and there's not a copperhead, but there's a rattlesnake just hanging out next to it.
The guy that ran the park, he said, if you're walking around here at night, take something with you to kind of like beat in front of you in case, you happen to like hit a snake.
That's so both have snakes
and fucking wandering caravans of bees.
That's true. But I feel like in the desert, you at least might have a little bit better like eye on the snakes, whereas in the jungle, you'd be like swiping at something. All of a sudden, there's a big boa. So I think I'm going to go with like the idea that I'm going to die in one of these places, and I want to die in the one the quickest, which would be the desert. So I'm going to go lost in the desert.
I don't know. This one's hard. I guess I've never been to the jungle, so maybe I want to die there.
Die in the jungle. Become one with nature.
Yeah. After a few months, I'm wandering around. I got like leaves and mud all over my face.
Yeah, you got ticks all. That's the other thing. You probably have a ton of like crazy jungle ticks.
Probably. Fucking the size of poodles.
No, thank you. All right, let's move on to super question number 4. Richard, choose between spending a night in the Purge or being in the Hunger Games.
I never saw the Hunger Games.
So the idea behind the Hunger Games is you get picked like 2 per like town. So you think like, let's say that the 50 states, out of each state, they pick 2 people that have to go into this big competition where only one person can survive. Okay. It's smaller than that. It's like 14.
So you go to the Hunger Games and everybody else dies.
Yes. Yeah.
You either win or you die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's only been like 1 or 2 situations where there's been 2 people that have technically won.
Okay.
The Purge, anything goes.
Right. For 24 hours.
24 or 12 hours, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I've always thought about this. Like, I always thought like the prequel Purge would have been cool with like people trying to figure out like, okay, what do I do here? And almost like where places of work are like, oh, hey, like, one of the benefits of working here is we have a safety place for, during the Purge. So
I feel like you'd have a better chance of surviving the Purge.
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at the one game
looking at just raw numbers.
And we can make it a little bit more fair. So, like, let's say the Hunger Games, instead of it being only one person survives, it's a 12-hour battle, but it's a smaller number of people in a smaller confined area.
Oh, like a battle royale?
Yeah. So it's like you've got 12 hours. If you're alive at the end of the 12 hours, you get a trophy. If you don't, you're dead. Whereas in the Purge, it's kind of the same thing. where if you can survive the night, you make it.
Yeah, see, I feel like I'd fare better in the Purge off if I'm thinking about it.
Do you feel like in the Purge though? So like, let's say, okay, great example. It's game day.
Okay.
You know, all of us in game day get selected to go to the Hunger Games style. Like, you're fighting everybody because that's the rules.
Okay.
But the Purge, we're all at like game day on Purge night, and it's like, well, we're obviously not going to hurt each other, right? Like, we're on a team. But you have that one crazy person in the group. It's like, oh yeah, of course.
We're thinking about the same person, aren't we?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Scott.
Okay.
What's that big
me,
sword?
isn't it?
I feel like I would say Hunger Games because I think the rules are defined. It's you against, 13 other people.
I guess See, I still gotta go with the Purge, and the reason I say that is because I don't have enough faith in myself to feel like I would make it through to the end.
I mean, yeah, obviously if it's like, okay, Shawn, it's you versus Jason Momoa, Chris Pine. It's like, wait a second. These guys could break me in The Rock. You're like,
but I feel like in the Purge, like, what the rules are, and then how you end up surviving the night is up to you.
Yeah, well, and in the stipulation of it's kind of the same thing. We're saying 12 hours at this point, where one's a game where it's 14 people, the other is it's a full night of anybody. Whereas with
I'm not gonna lie, I would probably align myself with a group of like really, really badass people, and then I'd figure out like a little niche thing that like, hey, I'm good at this.
Yeah. So that they don't kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched enough of the Purges. I always like the concept of it. But it's just like we talked about, like the zombie apocalypse. I wonder if like that was a thing. Would you really see people be like, "Oh, you mean anything's legal right now? I'm gonna fucking go kill people."
Yeah, I agree. I think if it's like the first one, I think a lot of people are gonna be like, honestly, I think what you'd see happen at the first Purge is I feel like you'd see a lot of robberies.
Yeah,
I feel like robbery would just fucking through the roof. Like it would be more like I feel like it would be more like what you saw in like the LA riots than you would.
But don't you think businesses would be like, listen, murder's legal, so I'm going to hire you to protect my place and just kill people that come by?
Sure. But okay, so let's say you're talking about I don't know. Let's say you're talking about a bank, okay? Like,
oh God, but would you think everybody'd have the same idea? It's like, oh, I'm going to go to the bank.
Agreed. I think a lot of people would have the same idea. But like, if I showed up to rob a bank and you showed up to rob a bank, do you think we'd try and kill each other while trying to rob the bank? No, we'd look at each other and we'd be like, hey, you have the same idea I have. Let's do this together. So that way...
I'd be like, "Oh, this guy sent us both here, and then you're the safe cracker, and I'm the guy who kills the safe cracker." Like, wait, what?
No, I kill the bus driver.
But I feel like it'd be the situation like, "Oh, hey, okay, let's team up," and I mean, it's free money either way.
Exactly.
And we split it up. But then that third person shows up. It's like, wait, oh, you guys didn't bring a gun? Bang, bang.
Yeah.
How would you? So I've always thought about the Purge, like
you'd see a lot. I feel like you just see a lot more looting and vandalism than you would murder, at least at first.
This is I know in the first one, like they basically like there's businesses that build your house to be almost like purge proof. And I feel like that would be the freakiest thing ever to like lock down your house. Because like if there's people who are out there who are doing this, like that's like, oh, I'm gonna figure out ways to get into people's homes.
Yeah.
If and I also really, think about really
this. Let's say Shawn, you got hired as a security guard, and they were like, okay, you got to guard this bank during the Purge, and if people come to rob it, you got to shoot them in the face. And then like 5 of us show up, and we're like, we're gonna rob this bank. You can either leave or we're gonna shoot you in the face. And there's 5 of us and 1 of you. Like, don't you think you would just be like, you know what? Like, it's the Purge. Fuck it. And then you're just gonna
yeah.
You're like, hey, I'll help.
Or, while I'm there, I'm just going to cut all the power and steal the money and leave early anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's it's one of those things that I need to really do like a deep dive on those movies, because I've seen the Hunger Games ones, and they're basically like battle royales. You have to survive, so the rules are very straightforward. The Purge is like, okay, are you playing the game, or are you trying to just survive? Like, are you going to hunker down and hide? Because like you think about, I thought like, okay, well, what would I do? I probably wouldn't want to stay in my house. So you want to go out to somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Well, what happens if somebody goes out to the middle of nowhere looking for the people going out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
I mean, then it's a horror movie.
Yeah, much like The Purge was.
Yeah, which I think that's why I like the Hunger Games, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the Hunger Games because right when you get put in the situation, there's no like surprises. It's like, this is what it is. With The Purge, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go way out here, hunker down, but you don't know if you're really safe or not.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I gotta go with The Purge because I feel like I personally would have a better chance of making it through a Purge than I would a Hunger Games scenario.
Even with the caveat of same time limit, 12 hours apiece?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I do a better job. And like you said, like we said earlier, if it's the first one, I really don't see a lot of people wandering around shooting each other in the face. I'm guessing you would see it just be looting, vandalism, and arson on a mass scale.
Yeah, I'd still be nervous even on that first one, because there's crazy people out there that'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to go to house.
I mean, if it's the first one, I mean, guaranteed that home defense is not going to be what you see in the Purge movies, because like in those Purge movies, they had like fucking like steel shutters over windows and shit like that.
Had like a safe room inside of a safe room.
Yeah, like shit turned, like people's houses turned into like a fucking fortress.
Could you imagine the money that would be spent on that though?
Oh my God.
Like you're like,
that's where you make the money and fucking selling Purge protection.
Yeah. And then you sell Purge insurance. We're like, hey, you didn't pay your insurance. Guess what?
Yeah.
Combination to your house.
Yeah.
Purge is tomorrow.
We're going to fucking hit the alarm code and open your house up.
I think what freaks me about The Purge is it reminds me of The Strangers. I don't know if you ever watched that movie.
Was that the one where like three people just show up at some random dude's house and like terrorize the fuck out of him? Yeah.
It was creepy.
Mm.
I didn't like it. All right, but that moves us on to a very good segue on this, Richard. So we got 2 questions left.
Okay.
How you feeling about this so far? I'm really liking it.
Okay, yeah. I'm good so far. I like that I don't know what the questions are.
Yeah. Well, and I wrote these a while back, so it's took me a little bit to jump back into them. So super question number 5. Choose between being stuck in a horror movie or stuck in a violent cartoon.
I mean, am I gonna die in a violent cartoon?
See, with a violent cartoon, like I've been watching a crap ton of Barney Bear, which is like a cartoon from like the 40s. And you see him get like blown up and like hit in the head and like they swells up with this like big knot.
Yeah.
I think you wouldn't die from those things, but you would feel like an extreme, excruciating pain.
Well, yeah, but like worst case scenario, I end up going like, Yahoo! Oh, that's smart. Like that would be the.
But with a horror movie, do you think with the knowledge that you know of horror movies, do you think you could survive that and make it better? It'd be like playing that Jason game.
No. I barely think I could survive the Purge.
That's true. I'm already scared of that, Shawn. I don't want supernatural things coming at me.
Yeah, I don't need. Don't give me the Purge plus ghosts. Then I'm double fucked.
Yeah, and in horror movies too, like anything you fight, you can't kill. But at least in a violent cartoon, you could probably survive that. Even knowing those rules, it's like, oh, I need to cross this big valley. All right, don't look down.
Yeah, exactly. You know the rules in a cartoon.
Oh, yeah, you'd use the Looney Tune rules.
Yeah, you just don't. Yeah. If you see a cliff, you don't look down and just keep walking and you'll be fine.
So if you had to pick, so I think we both settled on pretty much.
And if you are walking off a cliff and you're not looking down, don't let anyone hand you an anvil.
Ooh, good call. Yep. Or if you need to get it through like a side of a mountain,
just paint a tunnel.
Well, hey, you have somebody else paint the tunnel, then you can go through it. They can't, but you can.
Yeah,
that's a good call. It'd be kind of like being in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
So I think violent cartoon's the winner here for both of us. It's the first one we've agreed on. But if you had to be stuck in a horror movie, what horror movie would you want to be stuck in?
If I had to be stuck in one,
kind of a bonus super question.
If I had to be stuck in any horror movie, which one would it be? Oof.
I can already tell you, not Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, nope, not that. I feel like not any where there's like a supernatural killer trying to come after me.
Yeah, like Michael Myers would kind of be out. Jason would be out.
Maybe something that's like simple that that there's like a simple solution to it.
Oh, like Gremlins.
Yeah, or The Ring.
Yeah. Once you find out the rule of the ring, it's pretty easy.
Then you're good. Or what's that one newer one? Well, I say newer, but I think it came out like 2 years ago. It Follows.
Oh, is that the one where you had to have sex with somebody?
Yeah. Done.
I haven't seen the new Truth or Dare one. That one was you played Truth or Dare, but if you didn't play, you died, or I don't know, it was something weird.
Yeah.
Those are all weird. Those are like The Ring, and then there was
what about the Final Destination ones? Was there a trick to that?
You had to survive, or basically you just had to beat death, but then death always came back around. So not really. Like at the end of each one, it was like, oh, we beat death, but then like there's a little like and but.
Or Saw.
Yeah.
I feel like with Saw though, like you still got to go through some shit.
It's like, okay, I'm not an asshole, so why is he going to put me in a game? But if it's like, you get caught in a game, it's like, great, now I have to cut my hand off or reach into this guy's guts to find a key or some other bullshit.
Yeah, you got to go through like some sort of bullshit in order to get out. Because there was one, like, because it seemed like with all those games, it was like, hey, like you're gonna fuck your like. It always felt like the premise of the games was always like, hey, you're gonna fuck yourself. You're gonna you're gonna hurt. You're gonna cause yourself unimaginable. Well, not unimaginable. You're gonna cause yourself a great deal of pain because of some ironic situation due to the way you lived your life. Or the way you were mean to fucking John Kramer. And then if you did that, then you wouldn't die.
Well, it was pain or loss. And in times it was either a you or another person.
Yeah.
Because there's at least like 2 or 3 games where it's like, oh, you had to kill. Like the one that was really fucked up is like it was 2 people on the side of spoilers, but it's like 12 years old.
Fuck.
It was 2 people in a room. It was like a really fat guy and a skinny girl.
Uh-huh.
And it was basically you had to like cut parts of your body off and put it in a weight. And whichever one had more weight was the one who didn't die.
Okay.
And so the fat guy's like, well, fuck you, I'm fat. So he's cutting off his body fat.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's not fat. She can't fare it. So she's like, all right, well, fuck it. She grabs a hatchet, cuts off her whole fucking arm below the elbow, drops it in the bucket. And she's like, deuces, fatty.
Yeah.
Which I always wondered in that situation too, like, I mean, you can't really understand it when you're at that point, but it's like, listen, if one of us is going to die, like, cut off the tip of your finger and put it in there, and then I'll be the one to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sacrifice yourself for him.
But, okay, but is that you playing the game to be like, well, I'm being nice, so...
No. I'm just thinking it's like, why put 2 people through like this huge torturous event? Because, in the end, she wasn't right.
True.
But I don't know.
So, yeah, I probably not a Saw movie. Like I said, something where there's like a trick to beating it, like The Ring.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Did you know they're it's not really a sequel, but Chris Rock, he's going to be in the new Saw movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's not called Saw. It's called something else.
Yeah, there's somebody else that's supposed to be in it too, right?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Huh. I haven't seen... I heard that, but other than that, I haven't heard anything else about it.
I saw the trailer for it. It was interesting. But, all right, so last question for this first ever Super Question.
All right, last question.
Episode. So Super Question number 6,
The money
Richard.
shot question.
Choose between trying to survive Jurassic Park or trying to survive Godzilla.
Oh, fucking... Are you kidding? Godzilla fucks your whole town.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you want to try to survive Godzilla or you want to try to survive Jurassic Park?
No. Godzilla fucks your whole town up.
Well,
He
Jurassic
knocks
Park.
whole buildings over.
It's true.
T-Rex doesn't knock buildings over.
Well, I mean, in the newer ones with Chris
Pratt.
What's his name? Chris Pratt. I always want to say Chris Pine. The
No.
new one.
Fucking
Well,
a
Godzilla.
T-Rex is like what? Say like 20, 25 feet tall?
Yeah, like was that like a quarter the size of Godzilla?
Yeah. Hey,
Well-
at least no, like not even. Probably like
The only benefit to Godzilla is it's one thing. It's one big thing. But I guess it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at like the Godzilla versus all the monsters, which I think is probably what you have to go with.
Yeah, because like if Godzilla's in your town, that means there's another monster there that's also fucking shit up.
Yeah, and that's what you've talked about that before, like on our long drives where you see like this big hill out in the middle of nowhere. You're like, how would you feel if all of a sudden that thing just stood up?
All of a sudden, like just that entire mountain just started to move, and then something just stood up.
No.
Like what the fuck?
Because, I mean, like the biggest animal ever on the face of the earth is the humpback whale or the blue whale, whichever one's like 100 feet long in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, of everything we know, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And you're talking like Godzilla's what, like 600 feet or something? Like something ungodly?
Yeah. Godzilla, I think, I actually don't know how tall Godzilla is. I want to say like 200 feet. That's
So, I mean, twice as big as the biggest thing on earth, but still big. But yeah, I mean, that's something like the blue whale isn't going to be like coming out of the ocean towards people.
Godzilla is 164 feet tall.
Oh, wow. It's not as big as I thought. Because, yeah, T-Rex is like the only thing with the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, it's kind of like the jungle thing where you're trying to run through this jungle and you don't know what could be anywhere, right?
Uh-huh.
Because, like, in Jurassic
actually, okay, wait, Shawn. So, that was the original, like the old 1954 Godzilla was 164 feet tall.
they're like, not big enough, make it bigger.
Yeah. So by the time you get to the newest Godzilla movies, he is 3 times that size.
So he's 500 plus feet.
Yeah. So 120 to 150 meters. So yeah, probably close to 600 feet.
And he blows that fire too.
That's what I'm saying. He shoots radioactive fucking fire.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess with Jurassic Park, like you get off that island, you're safe, but you have to worry about raptors, T-Rex, even those little bitty things.
With Jurassic Park, you don't have to worry about one big thing. You have to worry about a kind of big thing and a bunch of other things.
Yeah. And also like with that too,
except for that big fucking fish.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That one. Ooh, that one. I don't know, man.
You just got to stay out of the splash area for that one.
Holy shit, that thing is massive.
But watching Jurassic Park compared to watching Cloverfield, like that makes me feel like very anxious and very like claustrophobic because there's like not only do you have this big ass monster, but you have all these people. The only one that made me feel kind of claustrophobic was the last Jurassic Park where the island was exploding. Because I think if I'm on solid ground where like the environment itself is stable, I will feel safer. Like I feel like I'm in more control. But if you start putting in like, hey, buildings are collapsing, there's people that are like clogging up all this stuff, like mass, like hysteria, then I feel like I'm going to be in a worse situation. Yeah. So I think non-exploding island, I think I'm going to go with Jurassic Park too.
Yeah.
Not the second one. Probably the first one. The first one would probably be the best bet.
Let's see. So I mean, newer, bigger. I'm double checking on the Godzilla height. According to Wikipedia, let's supplementary information, character profiles. They estimate Godzilla weighs between 20,000 and 20,000 and 60,000 metric tons.
Jeez. That's a big animal.
In the American 2014 film, Godzilla was scaled to 355 feet tall and weighing 90,000 metric tons.
What do they say about the 2000 one with the Broderick guy?
Looks like they don't mention that.
But all right, Richard. Well, I'll skim through these a little bit. So first question, living in zombie apocalypse versus fighting an alien invasion. We were split on that. Stranded on Desert Island, Stranded on Mars, we were split there. Lost in the Desert, Lost in the Jungle, we were split there as well. A Night in the Purge, being in the Hunger Games, we were split on that one as well. Choosing between being stuck in a horror movie or stuck in a violent cartoon, we both agreed on stuck in a violent cartoon. And then the last one was surviving Jurassic Park or surviving Godzilla. We agreed there on Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So I want to know, Richard, as part of your closing thoughts and just in general, how would you feel about this super question episode? Is it something we should continue to do with different topics?
Definitely. I will say that these all seemed fairly depressing.
Yeah, situations like 3 of them were like, well, you're probably gonna die here.
Like, hey, I'm gonna recite fucking Sophie's Choice to you 6 times.
Well, the problem is I can't be like, all right, here's a situation, Richard.
Do you want a cupcake or do you want a whole cake?
A 3-way with 2 porn stars or missionary with your wife.
Wait for it. The porn stars are male.
But what are some Richard's closing thoughts to tidy up our super question episode number 1?
Anybody is welcome to join my Purge team because so that way I don't die. Let's see. Got my Purge team recruited just in case. I promise that I would if there's Hunger Games, I'll let you guys win just as long as I don't die. And Godzilla is huge. Much taller than I thought he would be, actually.
I know in the last remake they made him seem freaking just ginormous.
Yeah, see, I'm going by the numbers that you saw from like the last movie. Oh, so yeah, in the 2017 movie, his height was increased to 984 feet.
Jeez. Just to make sure you understand the size of this monster.
Fuck.
All right. Well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping as we tidy up this first ever super question episode. Visit our website, we're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. You can email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. You can like us on Facebook. Remember, there's always a couple ways to help support the show by like spreading the bromance, by liking, retweeting, or sharing our show on Reddit. And you can also pick up some merchandise at our LOB merchandise store at the tpublic.com. Richard, we have a brand new logo we just got finished up that is available right now at the TeePublic store.
You can go and grab some swag. And then that way, during the Purge, we can identify each other. So that
Team
way,
LOB Army.
Yeah.
So
that way we don't get killed.
That fits very well. Do you know what I titled that logo in TeePublic?
What?
Language of Bromance, Only Hope.
Yeah,
it's got the nice little thing there.
Nice.
And always, too, if you want to take a little bit of a bigger step and help us out, because we pay for all this show out of our own pockets, you can check out our Patreon account. It's patreon.com/languageofbromance. We're trying to keep the show ad-free as much as possible. We like to thank our Patreon members, Wendy and Aaron. Thank you guys, as always, for being strong supporters of the LOB Army.
You're the bestest.
All right, Richard.
You can totally be on our Purge team.
Yeah, you could probably lead it, actually, because we wouldn't do a very good job.
No, but I will kill for you.
It's like, all right, LOB Army, first leaders is Wendy and Aaron. What are your first...
Get these 2 assholes out of here.
Our first orders, kill Richard and Shawn. All right, Richard. Was there anything else before I close her out?
No, I'm done.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for the show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
Remember, don't be a why.
Be
a why.
A why not.
Not. When the choice is be a why or be a why not, always choose to be a why not.
Yeah. Why not? Purge team. 2020.